Welcome to the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. I'm Rod Khleif, and I am thrilled you're here. And guys, you are going to love who we have back on the show today. It's Grant Cardone, the mega sales trainer, multifamily mogul. If you don't know who Grant is, then I don't know what rock you're hiding under. And the guy's a force of nature, hugely successful multifamily real estate investor, marketing genius. In fact, Forbes named him #1 marketing influencer, controls over 4,000 apartments worth over $500 million with a B. And he's got 2,000 more units under LOI or in underwriting. He's got the best sales training program in the world, frankly, in the world. And those of you listening that want to get into multifamily real estate that don't think you need sales, you're sadly mistaken. You're selling yourself to sellers, brokers, lenders, potential partners, investors. Sales is influence. You're influencing people every day, including your family, your spouse, your children. And so selling is part of this business and is part of life. Now, the thing I love about Grant Cardone is he's authentic. What you see is what you get. No BS, no sugarcoating. But the thing I love the most is that's dear to my heart because giving back is dear to my heart is he's raised over $100 million for charity. And he gave food to 7,000 people without electricity in one of the hurricanes. He's used his jet to bring supplies to the victims of Hurricane Harvey, which I like that for two reasons. One, he's a tough guy, but he's got a huge heart. He's got a freaking jet. Welcome to the show, brother.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. I enjoyed the first time that we were together.
Yeah, thank you. Now, I don't want to cover old ground here, guys. So if you're listening and you love this episode, and I know you will, and you didn't hear the last one, go check it out. It's episode 38. He gets into why he started in real estate and some of his methodologies and how to develop intuition and, you know, how to do a worst case scenario and some conversation about due diligence. But I'm going to ask Grant different questions today. So the first question I got, did I hear you're giving away $1 million on social media?
Yes, we are. We've already given almost 200 grand away.
Holy cow. Tell us about that. What's that all about?
Well, what happened was every time I get a problem, I look at problems as opportunities. I saw that quote years ago. It's not my quote, but I'm like, hey, how do you do that? And really, I've spent a lifetime figuring it out. Every time a problem hits me today, you know, I find myself crumble. Oh my gosh, I get resentful. I get angry about it. Well, I got a big bill. My accountant came down. He's like, look, you owe X dollars to the IRS this year. And I'm like, dude, there's got to be something we can do. And the accountant that he is, like most accountants, no, there's nothing we can do. I've looked at everything. There's nothing. So he left the office and I'm sitting in my office stewing about it, angry at the IRS. And I remember this thing, hey, all problems are opportunities.
Right.
And I'm like, okay. And at the same time, I was doing this campaign with Facebook and YouTube that was ridiculous. It was costing me a lot of money to generate leads. And I'm like, what if I gave this money to people that love me, that love my products, my customers and my followers? What if I gave that money to them? That's who needs it anyway. You know, Facebook doesn't need more money. YouTube or Google doesn't need more money. And the IRS, we all know they just thieves. So what I said was, hey, I'm going to give $1 million. I'm going to see how this goes. We're going to give $1 million away before the end of the year. And it has been a blast. I have had so much fun doing it. We give people little contests on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook.
Love it.
This Friday, I'm going to give 100 grand away for people doing videos. Who is Grant Cardone?
Oh, I love it. What a great idea, man. I mean, that's you're going to get, first of all, that's a total win-win because you're giving the money away and you're going to get an incredible reach. Yeah. So
and
awesome.
People are learning how little they understand about social media and marketing and branding and storytelling. Like it has really been a very interesting practical for a lot of people. Forget the money. It's been
right.
Great practical. They're like, I didn't know how to put a video up. Oh, I did the video and I talked about myself the whole time. Or I did the video and I only talked about you and I never plugged myself. Like people are learning a tremendous amount about elementary marketing, branding for a business.
Love it. Oh, I love it. What a killer idea. So I know that you've got a great book because I have it. It's a little booklet, really. It's called the Millionaire Booklet. For those of you that don't have it, highly recommend you get it. I want to ask you some questions out of this because I just love this thing. I blew through it real fast, but it's got just sage wisdom in it. Fundamental wisdom about accumulating wealth. And, he's got a quote in here from Mark Cuban. The most important thing you must learn about any business is sales. We just talked about that. Sales is simple. Who's got my money? So
Yes.
I want to talk, I want to ask you to hear it in your words, some of the pieces in here, because they really resonated with me. So I'm going to start with chapter 7, which is stay broke. Can you talk about that for a minute?
Yeah, let me just back up 1 second because the
Okay.
millionaire booklet's really not about $1 million. For those of you out there that don't want
Okay.
money, it's about how to collect $1 million of anything, or 10 million or 100 million. By the way, you need big numbers. Anything you do in life, you need big numbers. If you're a farmer, you need a lot of crop, right? Because there could be a winter. So if you're raising money for charity, you need lots of people to give you money, not just one or two big benefactors. So if you're looking for real estate deals, you need a lot of deals in the pipeline. So this is really, how do you get $1 million of anything going? And the concept about staying broke, by the way, that book's free online.
Right.
The concept of going broke is not to save money to save, but when you stockpile dough, money, customers, deals, okay, what you want to do is you want to either exhaust that, throw them away, or you want to use them, right? What I mean is, let's say it's $1 million, for example. If I save $1 million or $100,000, what I want to do is I want to accumulate enough money, save it like mommy and daddy told me. And then what I want to do is I want to take that money and I want to push it into an asset. I want to actually be what Wall Street says to not be. I want to be illiquid. I do not want liquidity. Okay, I don't trust myself.
You don't make any money with the money in the bank, without question.
Well, what happens is not only that money typically gets destroyed. I mean, that money's going down in value. Forget the 1 or 2%. I think I read last night there's $35 trillion sitting in treasury bills right now. I'll look up the number here in a second, but it's massive. Wow. Earning 2%, 1 to 2%. But the worst thing about that money is going down in value every day, right? It's getting depreciated, not like a hard asset that produces income. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to take this depreciating asset, cash, and I want to dump it into an asset, not my primary business, by the way, or even my second business, my partnership. I want to dump it into a third asset that will appreciate with time, because the income from that property or asset or machinery or business should produce more of this depreciating asset. So I want to go broke. I don't want money in my pocket.
Okay. Now, and I totally relate to that. My definition of, my connection with that comment, stay broke, was I remember when I had hundreds of units and I lived in a 1-bedroom apartment. Because I was saving money to do exactly what you're describing. Yeah. So,
and that's because your lifestyle, I mean, look, until you can go do something big, your lifestyle really shouldn't change. I see people doing this. They make a little bit of money. I have people every day call me. I got 20 grand. I got 40 grand. I got 80 grand. I'm like, keep saving money, man. Don't change anything right now.
Right.
Get a new car. And this concept of being broke, it's not about being poor.
Right.
It doesn't mean I need to be a miser, but get rid of the money and operate, because if you don't have money, it's going to keep you hustling. So it's not about having an F-150 like the Millionaire Next Door book.
Right.
That suggested don't drink coffee, buy a used truck, and save your money, and one day you're going to be rich. But one day you're going to be old and you're not going to be able to enjoy the money. So you need to get the money to multiply. The Millionaire Booklet is really a book about the importance of multiplication, not increment and adding.
No, I love it. I love it. Well, hey, sweetheart, come here and say hi real quick. Just come say hi real quick. Just 1 second. My wife just walked in. Say hi. Say hi to Grant.
Hey, Grant.
Hey there. How you doing?
How are you?
Great to see you.
Okay. Hi, baby. Love you. Okay. So another chapter you've got is where you get your advice. Talk about that for a minute.
Yeah. Well, I used to get my advice from millionaires. And the problem with the millionaire, and this is no offense, I don't mean to be arrogant or to come off too harsh, but the problem with the millionaire is if I give you $1 million today and you suddenly become a millionaire, what happens to the individual, 99% of the people that would get $1 million today would go into massive conservation. You would go into now protecting your money.
Protect, yeah.
You would go into conserve, protect, defend, contract. You're actually contracting. I talk about this in a book I wrote called The 10X Rule.
Yeah, I love that book. Love it.
There's 4 actions: no action, retreat, average, or massive action. If I give you $1 million right now, what happens typically to most people is because this happened to me, I went into massive contraction and protection.
Right.
Because I didn't want to lose that money. I thought I had something.
Right.
I actually discovered that when I made $1 million, the only thing I had was fear. I had more fear now about the money.
Can totally relate. Yeah.
And even felt more broke. Like I was like, oh my God, I don't really have anything here. Right. So
right.
My point in the book is never get your advice from a millionaire. I used to get it from my uncle all the time. And he was a millionaire. And he was the big shot in our family. And everybody thought he was the sage guru that knew everything. He was buying Section 8 homes and renting them out and making $100, $200, you know.
Sure.
Carrying a stub nose with him everywhere he went. He evicted people constantly. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this.
So who do you get your advice from? Who do you get your advice from, Grant?
You need to get your advice from people that are super rich.
Right.
Because a billionaire, I spent some time with a billionaire one summer, about 3 or 4 months I got to spend with this guy. They think different. They're like, hey, man, put the money at risk. Use the money. Use the money. The money, like they don't think about money the same way. They think about it like oxygen or gym equipment, right? Or fuel in a car.
It's a tool.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
And he asked me one day at the end of our trip, he's like, what'd you learn hanging out with me? And I'm like, well, I learned a lot. You know, I learned, number one, I don't measure how much I spend on my fuel and my plane. I'm one of the most frugal people you'll ever meet. I never ask how much the fuel in the plane costs. And he's like, why is that? I said, because the plane's no good without the fuel. You have to have the fuel. Some things you don't need to measure. You just need to do them.
Right. What do you tell people, you know, that have this mindset issue around being rich being taboo? I know you speak to that in your book as well.
Well, they're all not rich.
Right. All right.
Rich people don't talk about it being taboo. Like,
enough said.
Anybody that tells you money won't make you happy or you don't need all that, or they don't have any money. They're giving you advice on something they've given up on. And I say this all the time. Do not get advice from a quitter. The millionaire quit on his finances. So, and by the way, see that right there, what just happened, this is the things that people nobody plans on this.
Right.
That's why you have to have a lot of stuff going on, because bad stuff's going to happen. That's why,
fantastic metaphor.
You know, so that's why you need a lot of deals in the pipeline. That's why most people should not be trying to buy real estate on their own.
Right.
They don't have the time or the energy or the resources to look at enough deals to actually get the good ones.
The dabblers get crushed. You guys have heard me say it a million times. If you're going to do this, you need to immerse yourself. You need to study it. Definitely listen to my last interview with Grant. Studied it for 5 years before you took action. So you could walk on a property and literally know, even without walking on it now, you could Google it and know if it's a deal. You've looked at so many, and that's what you have to do, guys. And that's for any business, real estate or otherwise. If you're going to master it, master it. Otherwise, just don't do it.
Or find somebody that you can roll with.
Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That has the mastery part done, right? Be willing to give them something to do the work. And the first thing, if you're looking for somebody to play with, look for somebody that's got a picker. Do not look at the payout. The payout's not the deal. Don't look at the fees first.
Right.
Look at their picker. How do they pick deals? The money is in the deal. It is not in the reps. It's not in the management agreement or the sharing. It is, does the guy have a picker?
Love it. Love it. Now, I know, on my podcast, I talk about the psychology of success, and you've got a quote in your booklet that financial freedom is 2 parts mental and 1 part mechanical. I like to say 80% of your success in anything is mindset and your psychology, and 20% is the mechanics. You're basically saying the same thing if you don't have the mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, in the financial mindset it's so difficult, because we're surrounded by so many people that have given up on money. I'm not talking about people in poverty, inner city, Baltimore, Chicago, where kids don't have anything. I'm not talking about Ethiopia where you can see a kid's ribs because he doesn't have food for 3 days. I'm talking about the overlooked middle-class America The life insurance agent that works at Northwestern Mutual making $300 or $400 a year, the doctor, the chiropractor, the plumber, the roofer. I'm talking about people that actually make money that never have anything.
Yeah.
So and they're settling. They're settling, right? They have the country club, the 2 kids going to school. A guy thinks $1 million is a lot of money, and then he has a kid. It takes $1.2 million to get a kid from birth to college.
Right.
So people are underestimating, and nobody teaches us this. There's no class in school or college that says how much money is enough money so that you don't have to worry. There's no course on that.
Yeah, don't get me started on that. They don't teach 3/4 of the things people need to learn about financial education, emotional education, psychological education, So, talk about your first chapter is about the decision, and then we'll move on to something else. By the way, guys, definitely get his booklet. It's free, for God's sakes. Like my book is free. Get his booklet for sure. You'd be crazy not to. But what's the millionaire decision?
The decision is you need to make a decision to become a millionaire. First of all, you're going to do it anyway.
Right.
So everybody's going to do it. In America, everyone becomes a millionaire in their lifetime, as long as they live long enough.
Right.
Now, if you die at 25, you're probably not going to make it. But if you live and work in America for 30 or 40 years, let's say 30 years, and you earn $30,000 a year, you almost made it to $1 million.
No kidding.
So it's not a question of whether you're going to earn the million or not. You're going to earn $1 million. The question is, can you take time out of the equation and become a millionaire sooner rather than later?
And that requires a decision. And a decision is when the Latin word, the root of the word means to cut off. If you're going to attack the island, you burn the ships. That's a decision.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so just make a decision. Don't just let this happen to you, right?
Right.
Make a decision. Hey, I'm going to become a millionaire, and I'm going to take time out of the equation. This is when you're going to, and by the way, make a statement to the people around you, and you're going to hit that thing we just talked about the environment around you saying, why do you need $1 million? The only person saying that is a person that has not made a decision and that has given up and quit on money.
Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. Well, thank you. That again, love that booklet, and you guys must get it. So I've got some questions. I put it out to my list. If they had some questions to ask you, and I got a ton of them, and I pulled out some really good ones. And if you don't mind, I'd like to ask a few of those. This first one's from Mike Hensel. He says, what suggestion, and I know Mike works with vets because he's a friend of a friend. What suggestions do you have for vets getting out of the service and using VA loans to buy multifamily instead of single family?
Well, number one, Mike, if you're a vet, you can get my Cardone University program for free. It's free to vets.
Wow.
CardoneUniversity.com/vets. So
number
one. Number two, I would not do it.
Really?
I wouldn't do it because it's limited to too few units. Okay. The problem with, the VA loans and the home loans is, and I know this might be contrary to some of the guests you've had on. And
no, actually it's contrary to my belief as well. So I want to hear it, and then I'm going to give you my position. Okay.
Yeah, the problem is, look, 2 units times $800 a month is $1,600 a month, times 12 is $18,000 a year, which means you cannot pay for a manager.
Okay.
If somebody agrees to live in one of the units, or
let me interject.
Yeah.
What I think, with VA debt, and this is not your wheelhouse. I've owned 2,000 houses, so it is a little bit my wheelhouse. With VA loans, I'm pretty sure they can use that debt and get into like a fourplex, nothing down.
Okay.
And in my opinion, that gets them over the hurdle of taking action. And then they could, if it's nothing down, they have to live in one. Now, that's the only way it works. So if you're going to go buy a house,
say they're going to live in one.
Yeah, I don't want to play with that, but they have to intend to live there. But if they're going to buy a house anyway, why not get a fourplex that can cash flow and start that career? Yeah. But tell me your position if you disagree.
My position is, first of all, you shouldn't buy a house.
Right.
Nobody should buy a house. That is a liability that you're hanging around your neck. The last thing a vet needs to do is come back to America and anchor down in a home.
I agree.
You wouldn't do that in a military operation.
Completely agree.
You'd have a camp, and you'd be willing to freaking take that camp and move it if you had to. Like finances is a military operation. You go where the money is, man.
Okay.
You go
All
where
right.
the enemy is. Who's got my money? Who's got my target, right? Who's got my mission? So the problem with 2 units and 4 units, and everybody hates when I talk about this.
Actually, I've got several questions about it, so I'm really glad we're already into it.
Because people are buying on a budget. This isn't Target. This is a financial investment. This isn't a toy for your kids, man. The only reason people are looking at 2, 4, 6s, 8s, and 12s is because they don't have the money for the down payment to buy 26. Again, It goes back to the deal. There are no good deals in 2s and 4s. I'll prove it to you right now.
Well, not today.
Anybody in your town building them?
Right.
No, they're going to build 240 units. They're not going to build 2 units. At 2 units and 4 units, there's no swimming pool. There's no fitness. There's no exit. These are only going to be worth so much money. Can he get a little drip? Can he live in one place for free? Yeah, but that's not the goal. The goal is not to live. When you're buying apartments, the goal is financial freedom. I think you said it in your opening, lifetime cash flow. Not a place to live. You see, the mission changed. I was on a lifetime cash flow mission, and the next thing you know, I'm trying to live someplace for free. Right? You wouldn't buy a restaurant so you could eat there for free.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
My belief is this. You need to look at a minimum of 16 units. Screw the debt. Don't worry about the debt. Okay? The debt's so good right now. It's unbelievable.
Oh, it's crazy.
What you need to do is figure out how to get a down payment for 4 units. That's all you got to do to figure out. Mothers, brothers, sisters. Find me. Hell, I might invest with you. But
you're going to open up a floodgate by putting that out there. Oh, that's funny. All right. Well, listen, and I knew you had that position, and I went right to the controversy. I tell people if you can put a stake in the ground and get something going, just because that's where I started. But I absolutely agree with your position as well.
But look, it'd be like, okay, you're going to pick a girl. Look at your wife. How beautiful is she?
Thank you. I'll tell her you said so.
Yeah. I mean, look, everybody knows it, right? You know it. So should, since you're just getting started, should you settle for something less or go for the Holy Grail? Maybe you should little boys.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right. That next question's on the same topic. I won't do that. Here's one. How do you choose a mentor for someone that's got little or no experience? This is from Philip. How do you choose a mentor from someone that's got little or no experience, but wants to start in multifamily with a 10X mindset? Obviously has your book.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't, mentoring would not, he could just watch my show every Monday. That would be enough mentoring to overload him.
Okay.
Look, the mentors I've had in my life, I've never met them personally.
No kidding.
Except for the time I spent with this
books, videos, podcasts, whatever.
They weren't even alive. I study them. Also on mentoring, when you're mentoring, like you should look for negative mentors too. What mentors? Right.
That's why I started my podcast, brother. I crashed and burned in 2008 because I was in single family. So I'm a negative mentor in that regard. And I'm not ashamed to admit it. Love it. Love it.
So look, let me ask you this question. Okay. If you would have done 100 units and above.
Oh, I'd be on the back of, if I'd have just done that, I'd be on the back of my yacht right now. I'd be parked outside your condominium complex in Miami right now, brother.
So what was the problem in 2008? It was the single family home.
Oh, no question. No question. I talk about it all the time. It was just lazy. I was comfortable. And I've got your sign on my wall, brother. Comfort kills. It's right there in my exercise room.
Yeah. The highest foreclosure rate was on 2, 4s, and 8s.
No kidding. Now that I didn't know. I didn't know. Okay. That I didn't know. All right. Well, there
stuff. It wasn't on the big 200 and 300.
Oh, no. It was single family. It was houses. But you're absolutely right. And I love the negative mentorship. So there you go, guys. I'm your negative mentor. I'm not your positive mentor. All right. Here's another one
again, that's why I say, look, study somebody that has packed away. Like I'll study Mark Cuban, right?
Oh, yeah. No question.
He's studying artificial intelligence. I'm like, I'm going to study it. I look at a guy like Elon Musk, the think on this dude is unbelievable.
Oh, my God. $3 billion companies that he started from scratch. Oh, yeah. He's my freaking hero.
All of which don't make any money.
Well, yeah, but they will. But they will. Yeah. So, All right. I've got so many questions around 16 units. Jeff Hamlin has one. I'm not going to ask that, but Jeff, thank you for submitting it. Ryan Dvorak is kind of
now
a
you got to
question.
ask it. Now I'm
All
curious
right.
about what
All
is
right. Mr. Cardone is always telling his listeners it's a waste of time to invest in anything less than 16 units. I would argue that by purchasing smaller units, I'm gaining valuable experience that I will ultimately leverage when I position to take down larger units with other people's money.
Okay, Jeff, I'll just tell you this. I totally understand where you're coming from. Okay, this is a plane I bought. I'm going to give you an example. I could have started. Now, I'm not saying that to say that I'm right. I'm saying that most people do not start with a mid-sized jet.
Now, Cessna.
Most of them start with a little Lear, maybe a Phenom, then a Lear, and then they buy 3 jets to get to this one. So what did I do? I'm like, I don't want to make that mistake. I talked to a lot of other guys that own jets, and I noticed that they all did this thing. Same thing with the real estate business. A guy wholesales, then he buys duplexes, then he buys 8s, and the next thing you know, he's buying 100s. Just skip. I talk about this in the Millionaire booklet, man. Quit. You don't need, you don't have to walk through hell, folks.
I
you
love
can
it.
go straight to heaven, man. You do not have to stop in purgatory.
I love it.
You know,
Love
if you got a good sales game, you just could skip. And so don't spend money, time, and energy buying stuff that's no good for you. You could research it. You could study it. I did that for 3 years. For 3 years, I walked properties. That's how I figured out, oh man, the 8 units is not going to work. It's just going to it's going to be like a damn albatross around my neck. It's going to take away from my main job that's giving me the down payment to buy to do the real estate. So how do I do it? And that's when I realized, oh, the management of that property, first the pick, then the management.
Well, let me say this. Okay? Because, you have a freaking billion plus mindset. A lot of my listeners, and this is that whole mindset thing. A lot of my listeners, they have they make what they must make. People make what they must make, and it's a must. And so, I know where these questions are coming from, and they're fear-based, and I have them myself. I'm like, oh my God, when we're looking at hundreds of units, like, you tighten up, and so it's common. It's human nature. You have any advice for getting past that for my listeners?
Again, go back, make a decision. I'm a 100-unit buyer.
Okay.
I'm an 80-unit buyer. Don't look at this other stuff.
Okay.
What investment do I have in telling somebody, don't waste your time on this? There's no money. I can do the math for you. Multiply 8 units times $600. It's $4,800 a month if you're full.
Yep.
Okay. It's $54,000 a year. Look, you want to make 54 grand a year? Don't buy real estate. Go work harder at your damn job. I can go on a streak. I know people that panhandle in Miami that make 70 grand a year. You don't need a loan. If you want to make another 50 grand a year, by the way, that's 50,000 if you're full, if you have no expenses,
with no debt,
no insurance, no debt, nothing. So the math doesn't work, right? It's like, why would you 54 grand a year? If it does 54 grand a year, if you net 30% of that, which you won't, what are you doing, dude? You're tracing $1,200 a month. And then Jeff is going to say, but $1,200 a month changes my life. Grant, it doesn't mean anything to you because you're the big shot. But $1,200. Look, I value $1,200 more than anybody I know, including Jeffy. Okay. $1,200 hits that floor. I guarantee you, Jeff, I will have the money in my pocket before you can bend over. I'll be reciting the serial numbers to you, Jeff, before you bend over to get it. So I'm just saying, man, if you guys want a lifetime cash flow,
go larger. All right. Got it. Okay. You guys heard it. All right. So here's a great question. I got to ask this one. If you woke up tomorrow with nothing but the knowledge you have now, and what would you do to gain your wealth back as fast as possible?
Nobody would know I was broke.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't be.
Love it.
Because I have my commitment. I have my creativity. You could take everything away from me. You could take my name, my verification on Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, and take away all my followers. I'll get it all back. Not even a question. Dude, you could kill me and I'll come back.
And it's mindset, guys. I hope you're hearing it. It's total mindset. Now, everybody thinks that this road to success is an easy road, Grant. They see you, they see bigger than life, the jet, the beautiful wife, the beautiful family, the condo in Miami, the Bentley, the on and on, the Rolls.
Not a Bentley, dude. Not a Bentley. That's
Oh,
not
sorry. Oops. Oh, that's fighting words there. Okay, Rolls. Anyway, so they see that and they think it's an easy road. Talk about some of the bumps in the road, the setbacks. Give us an example of.
First, let me just say this. First of all, it is easy.
It is easy. Okay.
It's easier than the alternative.
Ah, okay. All right.
Because I've done them both.
Okay.
I got to tell you guys, it is easier to fly my jet than it is on United Airlines.
Yes, it is.
It is easier to roll up in my Rolls than it is a Camry. I owned a Camry till I was 45 years old.
And I have a Ford F-150 that I just bought, by the way. So you're killing me here. You're killing me.
Those trucks they're making today, though, are so freaking sexy.
Oh, I love mine. I went and I was going to buy an Escalade. I had it ordered. I brought it in from another dealership, and I drove it. And the thing drove like crap. Sorry, Cadillac owners, but I drove a Ford F-150, and it was smooth. And I'm like, I'm getting this. Screw it.
Those trucks they're making today, man.
Yeah.
They make you look like a
Anyway, I digress. But what are some early failures that you had that contributed to your success? Some seminars. I know you talked on the previous, you don't have to talk about the single family because you talked about that on the previous episode. Anything else though? Anything in the multifamily space? Any seminars?
I bought a deal in Tucson. I bought 2,200 units in Tucson in 3 days.
Wow.
Okay. So, and one of them was a pig. But here's the deal. I knew because back to Jeff's question, I had shopped so much property that I walked into a town I'd never been in. More than once or twice, maybe stopping on Southwest Airlines going through to LA or something.
Right.
And I bought 2,200 units. It was my intuition. Hey, you need to go to Tucson. It wasn't on anybody's radar. This was years ago. I went in, collected 2,200 units. They were cheap, $40,000 a unit or something. And one of them, I knew when I looked at it, I said, this thing, I got to buy it with the rest of the stuff. It's not going to cash flow, but I'm going to make $2 million when I sell it. I made $2.1 million when I sold it. It never cash flowed. It hurt. I made another mistake on a portfolio in Nashville, Tennessee. I bought 800 units. I assumed the debt. The debt was terrible. It still is. I still own the 800 units.
Wow.
Terrible debt, like almost 6%.
Wow.
Only put $5 million down to buy 800 units though. So
so you can't refi it yet.
And one of them's a pig. One of them was like buying the United Nations. Okay. Like, they're so
careful. What do you mean by that?
I mean, everybody in there hates everybody because of where they came from.
Okay, fair enough.
I love everybody.
All right, me too.
Until they don't take care of my stuff.
Right.
So here's another big mistake I made. Dude, two big massive mistakes. Number one, I should have never sold anything.
Oh, guys, I want to exclamation mark that one. Be a real estate buyer, not a seller. I love it. Okay, thank you.
But I had to get where I wanted to go.
Fair enough.
Okay, number one. Number two, I should have bought more. I should have bought everything.
Love it.
If you buy it the way I buy it, okay, first it's the pick, then it's the cash flow. And you can wait as long as you have time, okay? Like in Florida, apartments, a guy told me this the other day, apartments in Florida double every 10 years. It's been doing this for 30 years now.
No kidding. Didn't know that. Wow.
So not those little duplexes.
All right. Let me ask you, this is a good question actually, because it's something I'd love to hear your answer to. This is from Adam Ullery in Clearwater, right up the road from me. What advice do you have from someone who's beginning to build his investment property portfolio about how to prepare to capitalize on the inevitable market correction?
You need to quit reading Harry Dent, dude.
Harry's right up there in his backyard too, actually. That's funny.
So look, Harry's been predicting this, this.
Yeah, the sale of a lifetime, I think is his recent book. Everything's going to go on sale.
He's been saying it for 30 years. Like, I mean, sooner or later, Harry, you will be right. I just don't know if you'll be around. So, first of all, I'd be very careful in a town like Clearwater buying small units, because there's a lot of single family there that competes with price. Okay. Like there's a lot of just dilapidated product there.
Let's talk about larger properties. I know maybe we do need to hear your worst case scenario analysis that you talked about in the previous episode.
I would love for it to come.
Okay.
I would love to see the pullback.
It's an opportunity, right? With crisis comes opportunity.
Yeah, well, because I think, look, we're already seeing, I've been saying this, I've been an outlier on it for a long time. People talk about the millennials being renters. I'm like, the millennial is not the renter. It's the baby boomer that's coming. The wave of baby boomers that will be renters is going to be massive. It hit CNBC yesterday. It came out in an article that even baby boomers are starting to choose renting over buying. I'll tell you, I'm buying a deal in Orlando, Florida right now. $50 million, 240 units, about $200,000 a door.
Wow.
Okay.
Holy crap. 200 grand a door.
200 grand a door. I have 68,000 pieces of traffic by lunch every day in front of this joint. Okay, watch this. I have a swimming pool that cost $1.5 million to build. I have a gym that costs about 600 grand to build, 1,200 square foot gym. This is nice as 24-hour fitness.
Wow.
I got somebody picking up after the people. I have the best technology in the place you can put in a home, and the person can rent there for $1,200 a month.
How can you make money on a $200,000 unit price of $1,200 a month?
Well, I think the rent's probably $1,500 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, I misquoted that. So it's $1,580. How do I do it? I'm gonna get a loan from the life insurance company.
Oh, nice. Those are the best interest rates you can get.
It's 3.77.
Wow.
Okay. 99% of population Earth cannot get that loan.
Right.
It's going to be interest only for 3 to 5 years.
Wow.
And I'm just going to sit there and wait, man. I'm going to clip my little coupon at 6 to 8%, and I guarantee I'm going to get rent growth there.
Oh, for sure. Okay.
So I might.
Wow.
I think
now, guys, that's what's called cojones. 200,000 a door. Holy Toledo. Good Lord.
bro, look. They're going to be. You know what they are in Miami right now?
No.
Like y'all need to. What city do you live in?
I'm in Sarasota.
Yeah. Okay. But you got to get out, man. You got to get out, bro. Look. In Silicon Valley, a 1967 built 1 bedroom, 1 bath, $6,800 a month.
Jesus.
New York City.
Yeah, New York.
What I rent for $1,500 in Orlando will cost a guy in New York $6,000 a month.
It's coming.
He won't have a swimming pool.
Right.
Okay. He will not have a gym. You go buy a house in Sarasota. What's the average price of a house in Sarasota?
Yeah, I don't even follow it anymore. I'm totally multi.
300 grand?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. You're not getting a swimming pool. You're not getting a gym, and nobody's picking up after you.
Guys, this is total forward thinking because there's 80 million baby boomers getting old and getting cold. You're buying in Orlando, which is Mecca for baby boomers, and myself included. And I love your mindset, man. You're absolutely right.
Notice where I'm collecting properties: Tennessee, Texas, Florida.
Love it.
Tax-free states. Okay. What's going to happen in New Jersey? New Jersey's broke. Illinois broke. New York broke. California's broke. People are moving out of those states to non-income tax states, not just for the no income tax, but they're also moving there because it's warm.
Quality of life. Yeah. Lifestyle.
Right. So people are moving where it's less expensive to live, where they can enjoy life more. It's 80 million baby boomers, 75 million millennials. That is 1/2 of the entire population of America.
Wow.
Okay,
I didn't even know that statistic. That's fantastic.
We're becoming a renter nation. We will become Europe. Okay, it's going to happen. You will not own a home here. You're going to see homes empty across America. I promise you this is going to happen in our lifetime.
No kidding.
People want to use things. They don't want to own things. If you look at the leasing rates in the automotive industry, it's the highest. When you and I were growing up, you had to own your own home.
Oh, yeah. Own your own home, own your own car, and all of that. Right.
The leasing rates on automobiles today is the highest they've ever been since Henry Ford started building cars. Because people don't need to own anything anymore. People are fine with using stuff.
Let me ask you a question because this kind of ties in. I got two questions left that I'd like to ask you from listeners. One is from Scott Hollister. In the next 10 years, are we going to see a lot of competition for affordable housing compared to A and B class?
Yes, absolutely. There's no affordable. Okay.
Right.
So like that thing I'm buying at 200 grand a door,
Right.
I think that's affordable living.
I'm going to quote you on that one. I love that.
You show me where you can buy a house for 200 grand and get a swimming pool, an infinity walk-in swimming pool with a sand beach.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
And a security gate, right?
Was this a failed condo conversion?
No,
No. Wow. They built it like that.
Said, hey, you want this deal? I said, yeah, I'll be over there tomorrow to look at it.
Wow.
So I'm buying 507 units in Houston, Texas, less than a mile from the Galleria, Starbucks in my backyard, Whole Foods 60 yards from me.
Oh, that's
across
lifestyle.
The biggest Baptist church in Texas.
That's lifestyle.
And I'm paying 100 and I can't say exactly what I'm paying on that deal, but I'm assuming $63 million in debt on that deal, 500 units.
What
I'm gonna make $60 million in that deal.
Love it. Love it.
Take 10 years.
Love it. Well, actually, on that note, I'm not going to ask you this last question because it really doesn't.
Dude, you open it up. You got to. Anytime you open the door, you got to walk through it.
Yeah. You know what? I lost the name on this, but I forgive me, whoever asked this question. Please ask Grant if he's changing markets from tertiary to primary since he's taking outside investment money. Does it make sense to go larger so you'll have access to more capital?
Well, I think it doesn't, like, to me, I go to markets that are that other people don't want to play in. So like right now, why am I going to Houston, Texas? Right. I've been
one of the hottest markets in the country, right?
Again,
isn't that a hot market? Or I'm thinking Dallas.
No, Houston was overbuilt. Okay. So they built, I don't know, 28,000 units here in the last couple of years. So what happened was all the big institutions pulled out of Houston. So what I do is I go to places where the institutions pull out, because when institutions pull out, what do we know? They're coming back. So as soon as oil pops again, first of all, Houston's not just an oil town anymore. It's the biggest medical center in the world. And more medical jobs there than oil jobs. So it's just a matter of time before the institutions come back in and look for product. So
when you say institutions, what are you speaking about? Giant billion-dollar corporations, or what?
Yeah, I'm talking about the billion-dollar REITs. I'm talking about the Blackstones and the guys that have so much money they have to buy massive deals. So they'll look to an operator like me with 10 or 12 or 15,000 or 20,000 units and say, "Hey, we'd like to buy the whole portfolio."
Oh,
ring-a-ding.
Ka-ching. Okay, so. I want to move on to a couple other questions. I know that I think I read somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, that you've got a pretty consistent morning ritual. Can you speak to that for a second? I mean, what you do. I mean, I know my listeners want to know what Grant Cardone does in the morning that contributes to his success.
First thing I do is I wake up. I go piss. I go take a piss. First thing I do. And then I have this little book called the 10X Planner, and if I don't have this book with me, then I'm going to have a little legal pad with me, and I'm going to start writing my goals down. My goals have been changing my whole life, right? So like what I wanted when I was 10 years old is not what I want today.
That's how it works.
I'm constantly like writing down where I'm going. This is not a battle plan. This is not a to-do list. This is not what I'm going to do today. It's not my appointments. The meeting with you today wasn't on here. This is my big goals. Unachievable, out of reach. And so I'm going to write that down in the morning. I'm going to write a quote of the day that I'm going to live by that day. Today, my quote of the day is, "I'm not a post. I'm not a telephone pole. I'm not a tree. I control my destiny." Right. I can change the outcome of my life. So that's my quote that I live by. And then my targets for the day. And then at the end of the day, I'm gonna write my goals down again. So that's kind of my personal kind of ritual. I get to the office about 9 o'clock. We have a meeting. I didn't make the meeting today because I got a workout in. And then Katie's going to give me a list of stuff I have to do today. I'm going to do whatever Katie tells me to do. And then I'm going to jam in as much as I can to create as much freaking craziness as I possibly can.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Now, I think I read that you work out every day. You exercise in the morning, you know, and
I try to get 2 workouts in a day if possible, but
2. Wow.
I don't always, and they're short. They're 30 minutes. I'm not a bodybuilder. I'm not spending an hour and a half in a gym. I see guys doing this. I'm like, dude, you got too much bicep there, bro. Okay. You at the bicep, you working those biceps. I'm working at the bank.
Love it. What are you not very good at?
Well, I'm terrible at management.
Okay. So
Okay.
how do you handle that? Use third-party managers?
Well, I mean overall managers, not
Hmm.
just apartment management.
So in your businesses and in your real estate. Okay.
Look, I'm a terrible organizer. I'm a terrible manager. I create lots of havoc around me. There's tremendous amounts of destruction taking place in my aftermath.
So you have a whole cadre of people cleaning up behind you then is what you're saying.
There's a lot of cleaning up going on, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't think about what I'm bad at much, but
All right. Fair enough. Fair
you know,
enough.
I'm not a great communicator. I'll tell you something else. I'm not a great communicator, even though I think people would say I'm a great communicator. I think I'm probably an awful communicator because I know I come across as arrogant and too harsh, and I don't pull the heartstrings and make people feel all foo-foo and woo-woo. And I try to do it, but it's not who I am.
And that's why I love you, brother. Seriously. Yeah. I mean, there's no BS, and I said it in your intro, and you know that's why you're a huge success. And you absolutely rub some people the wrong way, and that's okay.
See, like I tell Jeff the truth about the 2 and 4 and the 6 and the 8, and because he doesn't want to swallow the pill. What he does is he's like, oh, Grant's an arrogant guy that's lost touch with reality. Look, I see your comments. I know what you say about me, right? So it's, first of all, whatever you say about me, I've already said about myself. You know, have I lost touch with reality? Yes, I have. I will never buy a single family home that produces $100 a month cash flow ever again in the rest of my life. I do not.
Hallelujah, man. I bought 2,000 of them. I'm okay.
What do you do with them, dude?
Yeah.
So you got 2,000 closings,
2,000 owners, 2,000 renovations. Let's not go there. It's painful. That's as painful as you thinking about what you're not good at.
Yeah.
All right. Fair enough. I had one great question I wanted to ask you. Hang tight. What are you proudest of?
Well, I'm really proud of my kids, man. My kids are awesome. Like I've done a great job with my kids. I had them reading out of my books the other day, and you know,
nice.
You know, I think I've been a decent role model for my kids. My marriage, I love my wife, and I like that I got her. I like how much money I've given to charity. I've given about $20 million of my own money to charities.
Wow, brother. Yeah, I've fed 55,000 families over the last 17 years. Greatest joy in my life. You know, that's magnificent, brother.
You know, I never dreamed I'd actually be a millionaire. And the fact that I'm gonna give $1 million away this month.
Love it, man.
I'm really proud of my energy. I have tremendous amount of energy. Like I've somehow figured out how to create energy without any kind of gimmicks. I don't use drugs. I don't use cold plunges. I heard a guy say the other day, he does a cold plunge so he can go from 0 to 90. I'm like, dude, why the cold plunge?
Cryotherapy is now the big thing. I know Tony Robbins is big into that. Cold plunge. He does cold plunges as well.
Yeah, I'm like, I can go from 0 to 90 and freaking just thinking about it.
So where's the energy come from? Where does that passion come from?
Well, I create it. I know that I'm the creator of the energy. Like I'm not looking for the energy from some external force.
What do you say to yourself? I mean, are there things you say to yourself? Any internal dialogue that might help my listeners?
Dude, you need to go, bro. You need to go. You're running out of time, son.
Oh,
you
wow.
need
Okay.
to roll. Look,
it's urgency.
I feel better when I'm working. People say work's not everything. I say, no, work is everything if you want to be happy.
But you got to love what you do. Got to love what you do.
You can't, if you're not good at it, you're not going to love it.
Right.
So,
and the alternative, if you don't love it, you're not going to be good at it.
And this whole thing about, you know, the guy you just mentioned talked about, hey, he says, love what you do and the money will follow. I'm like, dude, that ain't true. I know a lot of people love what they do and they ain't no money following. You got to follow the money. Get you some money and I guarantee you're going to fall in love with what you're doing.
Fair enough. Yeah, you can't just love it. You actually have to take action.
Yeah, because if you're not being paid for it, like you're not going to love it after a while. You're going to hate everybody around you. If you're working 14, 15 hours a day and you're going home and just barely making it, you're going to, at some point, you're going to be like, this is no fun. It'd be like running a race and never getting a ribbon.
Right. All right. So I got 1,000 questions I could ask you, but I've got to respect your time. And I'm so grateful to have you on the show, brother. Tell us about GrowthCon. You've got this kick-ass event coming in Vegas. I've got to make it. I've got to get it on my calendar. It just looks killer. And tell my listeners about it, please.
Well, every year I do a big conference. This conference it's turned into a really big thing now, and it's really for me to get around and collaborate with other great people. So this goes back to the thing I said earlier about I'm not a post. You know, I can change the outcome of my life, but I can't do it by myself. I got to get around great people.
Team.
So by doing this conference, I'm able to get billionaires to show up this thing, people that have produced billions and billions from all types of industries.
Right.
I have a speaker list of 20 people coming in, men and women that we're going to spend 3 days with, talking about business expansion. This is not a motivational event. This is how do you scale your business out, whatever that business is. So anybody that's an entrepreneur, it's in Vegas, February 22nd to the 25th. You can get tickets for under $1,000. It's 3 days with me. I'm there all day, every day. I speak twice a day, and I interview every speaker.
Love it. Love it. I highly recommend it. I don't endorse very many things on the show. Highly recommend it. Thanks for being on the show, my friend. You've added tremendous value today.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Absolutely. Take care.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to the Lifetime Cash Flow Through Real Estate Investing podcast. If you've enjoyed the show, please subscribe and then take a moment to visit iTunes and leave a 5-star rating and review. For more resources to connect with us further, please visit our website at lifetimecashflowpodcast.com. Tune in next week for our next show.